Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. Plant manager. Tried liking that guy. I really tried liking that guy. He was one notch above me in the ranking. And I had no intention of being a plant manager. Really didn't want to be a plant manager. Had no need for that kind of pressure. Because then you've got to deal with customers, you've got to deal with all kinds of things. I was working with equipment and people. People that worked for me and the equipment that ran in the plant. The equipment never did anything to me that I didn't know why it did it. And the people, as long as you treat them right, everybody's pretty good. But customers can be pretty darn abusive. So I didn't want to be a plant manager. But when he left on a business trip, he put me in charge of the plant, said, "You're temporary plant manager." Well, what that is going to go into a side story. When I worked at United Technologies, had a guy named Rex Barton. He was plant manager. He hired me. Rex and I got along really well. He was my partner on the golf team. I ran the maintenance department and plant engineering and that kind of thing, and he was the guy who ran he ran department heads like me. Well, we had a company down in Jeffersonville, Indiana that did the same thing as the United Technologies plant up in Coldwater. Up in Coldwater, we made aluminum extrusions for the building industry and automotive industry and electronics and anybody who bought aluminum extrusions. Didn't make any difference. If you gave us money, we made parts for you. Down in Jeffersonville, they had bigger presses and they made bigger parts. Well, one day, Rex was talking to me while we were out on the golf course, and he said, "You know, I was talking to Bob down in Jeffersonville, and Bob said, 'Why don't you have a plant superintendent?' And Rex said, 'Well, I don't need one. It's a small operation. I can manage it just fine.' And Bob said, 'Well, who are you going to fire when it all goes to hell?' He wanted to have somebody there to act as a cushion so he could blame him when things went bad. And we both laughed, Rex and I both laughed. I said, 'That sounds like a bad position to be in.' Wasn't a month later, Rex asked me if I wanted to be plant superintendent. I said, 'No, don't want to be plant superintendent. Don't have a need for it, don't have a want for it. Not anything I want to deal with.' So he hired a plant superintendent. Plant superintendent was a smart young man, and he got Rex fired. His name was Lynn. Interesting fellow. He tried coming after me once. Didn't work. I left and I'll work elsewhere. So when Ken said that I was going to be plant manager while he was off on his business trip, I said, okay. Wasn't like I had a choice. He came back and I said, "Man, I'm glad to see you back. Not a job I want." He looked pretty mad at me. I thought, what in the world did I do this time? Well, turns out Ken was getting a lot of trouble from the Japanese. We were making too much money. The Bronson plant wasn't supposed to be turning a profit. It was supposed to be a net loss. It was supposed to be part of the pyramid that the Japanese companies have, where the top of the pyramid is the bank back in Japan. And the lower sections are the suppliers and subcontractors that make up the parts. And the upper echelon is the assembly plants. Well, the assembly plants were down in Indiana, They were making parts for Nissan. Wind's blowing up pretty good here. I better get my story done pretty quick. So anyways, woo! Blowing sticks out of the trees. I'll step inside here and finish my story so that the sticks don't land on my head. Ken wanted me to be plant superintendent. Well, I didn't want to be plant superintendent, so he made me head of engineering. I said, Rex, I don't have a degree for that. I'm not set up to be an engineering manager. He said, well, you're going to be. It's either that or you get fired. I thought, well, this is not good. But I was 52 years old, and the company was having a situation where the plant manager the Japanese plant manager, the guy who actually ran the plant, had talked about in a meeting. He said, why do you have people over 50? Just to the general population of the operation, where since I was a department head, I got to sit in on the meeting. He said, they cost too much. The insurance is higher, and you have insurance on all of them. They have too much too much time off because they have vacation time, and they make too much money because they've been here long enough that they make a lot of money. In Japan, everybody who's older than 50 retires. And he wanted to lay off everybody who was over 50. Well, they'd already done that once. They went through the plant and said, okay, we're not going to lay you off, but what we're going to do is offer you early retirement. If you take retirement now, we'll give you full benefits and insurance as long as you want it. Dumb move, but the union jumped on that. The union said that's a great idea. So they wrote up a contract, and they had that kind of a contract that they retired early. Anybody over, I think it was 60 at the time, anybody over the age of 60 retired. Well, when you have a company that, remember the 3-pound hammer? There were a lot of jobs that they fixed with, this guy knows how to hit it, this guy knows how to sharpen this tool so it cuts like this guy knows how to do these things. And he doesn't train anybody else because that's his job. He runs this screw machine making these parts, and he's the only guy that does. So, okay, that's it. So, they laid off everybody over the age of 60. They lost tons of knowledge. All the people who knew what they were doing left. Can't blame them. They got good retirement packages at the time. But the Japanese said, why'd you do that? Now we have to pay them all this money. You have to stop this. So they set up a deal where they tried to make it impossible for the union to survive. And they managed to make it so that the union went out on strike because the company was being really draconian in their measures. And they ended up pushing the union out of the Bronson plant. Now, I haven't been down there in a long time, and they may have settled things in a different way since I walked out, but that was a long time ago. Wasn't real happy with them. Wasn't 3 months later, after we had the meeting where he talked about letting people go who were over 50. I was 52. I got told, you're no longer needed. Now they tried to make it my fault, which was stupid. They gave me a list of reasons why I got fired. They didn't have to. I was an at-will employee. That was dumb on their part. What they did is said, Dave, here's the things you can fight us about. So I hired a lawyer. We went after him. Had every chance of winning until they took the Japanese plant manager and sent him back to Japan. And my lawyer told me that, well, they put him behind a Chinese wall. Any reason why I don't like Chinese? Chinese wall evidently means that he's no longer responsible for anything happening in the United States. So that solved the problem. They took the person who made the mistake and took him back to Japan. Okay. I was already working at another company and making more money than I did there, so I just dropped it. So, what do you learn from all this? One, I will never work for the Japanese again in any way, shape, or form, doing anything. And if somebody says, hey, we want you to be this thing, I said, what's the reason behind it? Oh, we just think you're the greatest thing since sliced bread and we want you to do this. And I can't see any reason why I would be the best choice. I figured, okay, I'm expendable. So, if you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.